Yeah, I made this beautiful box pleat gown for my little niece, and you can see that she loves it and she called it princess gown. Ever since I made this gown, she'll be like, Auntie Gemma, I want to wear my gown almost every day. And finally, on my cousin's wedding, we decided to dress her up with the princess gown, and you can see that she likes it. And the beautiful thing about this is that I recorded the process of making this very beautiful dress. So if you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You're welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be taking you through the process of making this beautiful box pleat gown for a little child. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the tutorials. So firstly, I'm going to work on the front bodies, then later we'll work on the down bodies and the jacket. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the tutorials. So first is that I'm going to get half of her shoulder measurement, which is about 5 inches. Okay. Then the neck width we are using for this project is 2.25 inches. Then the neck depth we are using is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these 2 points together. Then for the shoulder slope, I'm coming down by just half an inch for the shoulder slope. Then I'm going to connect to the neck width. Alright, so here I'm going to come down by half of her armhole measurement, which is about 4.5 inches. Then on this part, I'm going to mark exactly what I have here, which is about 5 inches in order to have a straight line. Then I'm going to get her bust circumference divided by 4 and impute whatever number I have over there. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these points together. So at this point, you can locate the midpoint of the armhole. So this is the midpoint. Then the next thing we're going to do is to determine the half length. Her half length is about 11 inches, and I'm going to mark 11 inches all the way down and square a line across. Alright, so once I'm done with that, to put a dart, I'm using total of 2 inches for half of the dart. Okay, so I'm going to connect all the way to the armhole area. Okay, so because there is no bust, we are not going to tie it or add any dart leg to it. So but what we need to do is to add half an inch to this line, just half an inch to this line, so that we won't have difficulty when joining it. So I'm going to come up here by just this half inch and reconnect my armhole line. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to take her bust circumference divided by 4 over here. Then I'm going to, but if your clients have a bigger belly, children with bigger bust, you can just use the bust circumference as the chest circumference. Okay, so I'm going to connect it to the chest line. Alright, so this is for the front bodies. Because there is really no difference between the front and the back bodies, I'm going to just draft both the front and the back on this pattern. There is no bust at the back. Okay, so the only thing we need to impute is just the zipper allowance and also the neck line. Okay, so let me go ahead and impute that. So for our neck depth, we are using just half an inch for the back neck depth. Alright, so I'll be using this pattern for the front and the back, just that I'll need to include like 1 inch allowance for the zipper and for the back. Then for the front, I'm going to come in here by just 1/2 inch and make a curve here. Alright, so after transferring the pattern to the front, to the back, this is what we have. So for the front, I can go ahead and cut out this part and trim out the shoulder, and that is it for the front pattern. So I'm going to keep it aside. Then for the back pattern, I want it to have a little bit of an opening at the back. Okay, so we don't necessarily need this line. I just had to change my mind to give the style at the back. So I'm going to make a sort of an opening at the back, keyhole open at the back. Alright, so let me take a measurement of what I have. The height is about 2.5 and the width is about 4 inches, which is okay. Then for this part, it's going to have buttonhole, maybe 2 or 3 depending. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim out like 1/2 inch on this part, and that's it basically. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out what we have. I'm going to go ahead and cut on my fabric. Then once I'm done, I'll get back to you. All right, so what we are working on now is the box pleats design. So to do that, you need to get your fabric and fold into 4. I've already done mine, but I just want to explain what I did. So you need to times your waist circumference by 3. Whatsoever you get, you divide it by 6.28. When you divide it by 6.28, whatsoever it gives you, I divided my client's own is, and it measures around 11 inches, and I took 11 inches all the way down on the fabric. Okay, so it gave me 11 inches. Then we have already taken out 11 inches as the half length. So after taking out 11 inches from the half length, whatsoever that is remaining for the full length, I think it should be about 13 inches for it to be 24 inches. Then you take it down so that by the time you join the half length to this particular side, you have exactly the full length of the dress you are making. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out and show you what it looks like. All right, so this is what we'll be having. So this length to this length is up to 25 inches. So I'm going to cut out this part and cut out the other part. Okay, so we have 3 times of our waist measurement here. Okay, this is our waist circumference times 3, then divided by 6.28. So after the division, we got 11 and approximately 11. Okay, so I took it down all round. I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut a fillet, so I'll leave the link in the description box. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this part and this other part where I marked. Okay, all right, so after cutting, I'm going to infuse wadding or hairstay to it to give it a bit of strength. Alright, so I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric we are using for this project. This is the back part and this is the center front. This is for the side and this is the other side of the back. And I also cut the flare. Okay. Alright, so for this I added a light wadding to it, and that's just it. Then this is gum stay, okay, to give it a bit of strength. Alright, so this is what the flare looks like when spread. Let me show you. All right, so I have stitched it. I joined the back to the front, and after which I added the lining to it. So I believe you can understand what I did. And towards this neckline area, the back and the armpit, I added hemming gum to it, and I notched all the areas. So I'm going to turn it inside out this way. Okay, so I joined everything. I joined the back separately, the lining separately. I joined the main fabric separately. So after which I now joined the two together. So I'm going to turn it inside out to unveil the right side. All right, so after unveiling the right side, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to stitch these two sides using 1 inch of the allowance I gave earlier. So I'm going to also stitch this side, and I ironed it, and that's why it's looking this flat. Okay, so let me do that off camera and I'll get back to you. All right, so this is the flare part of the dress we are making, and I have already cut the lining. This is the lining and this is the main fabric, and I added air stay to it to give it a bit of strength. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to stitch round the hem. So, and to do that, I'm going to be doing that with this crinoline. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to place this crinoline on the lining part of this of the hem. Then I'm going to stitch all the way around, so that when I flip it over to the other side, the lining will not be shown, the fabric, okay, will be shown. So you place the crinoline on your lining and stitch all the way down. So when I get to the end, like when I complete the circle, I'll let you know the next thing. All right, so I'm done stitching, and this is what we have. I added horse-stay to it, and the width is about 1 inch. Okay, so I had to open it by the two sides, and I had to close it up. So what I'm doing now is that I'm going to turn to reveal the right side of this project. So once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and iron. Then I'm going to top stitch this part, just this open part. I'm going to top stitch it, and I'll get back to you. All right, so I went ahead to attach a band to the upper bodice. I had to attach it from here, leaving like 1 inch where I'll be joining the box pleat. So to join the box pleat, you have to determine how many box pleats you want. So for these tutorials, I'll be needing like 6 box pleats. I'll be needing one at the back, one by the side, this is 2, then one here at the princess, that area, then another one at the second pleat, making it 4, then another one here, then another one at the back. Here we are supposed to have that, but that's okay. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6, total of 6 lines here. So I'm going to further divide this part into 6. So it's unfold, so I'm going to measure and divide into 6 equal parts. So let me do that. All right, so next is to start making the box pleats. So what you need to do is to align it and make sure that they are equal. You have to just divide it the way you just partitioned it into 6 parts. Okay, all right, so after partitioning it into the number of box pleats you want, then you begin to form your pleats. Okay, so you are going to start from one end this way, and when you get to the place where you want your pleats to be, you fold this way. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. You fold this way, okay, and fold the other way and stitch. Then you move over, then you keep stitching. I'm going to secure it with my pins. Then you move over to the next place where you want your pleats to be, and you repeat the same process. Let me get a paper and illustrate how to make pleats for you. Alright, so I believe with this paper you can see it better. So this is it. You go ahead and make a pleat this way, and make another one the opposite direction in such a way that the one inside will align. Then you stitch. Then when you get to another place where you want to have the pleat, you follow the same pattern and direction. Then fold another one just like that. By the time you open up this way, this is what you should have. Okay, so let me go off camera and complete the rest, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I'm done pleating, and this is what we have. I had to reduce the number of pleats to just 4. As you can see, we have 2 at the back, 1 at the side, and 2 at the front. Okay, at the 2 dots area, that's where we have the second dot. So let me go ahead and close it up and impute my zipper and my button. Okay, so I'm going to stitch all the way to this part. Then I'm going to impute my zip here and fix my button. Then I'll get back to you. Alright, so I'm done attaching the zipper and the button. Let me review the right side so you can see. And we are almost coming to the end of this tutorial. So if you find it useful, give it a thumbs up. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add this petticoat to it. So what I did was to cut out a 360-degree flare, and the waist circumference is kind of bigger by like 6 inches. I'll need to gather this area so it will be the same with the waist circumference I'm working with, and so it will actually give it more volume. Then the length is actually 3 inches shorter than the main fabric, so that it won't be inconvenience the small girl. All right, so I had to go ahead and pleat 1 yard of hard net round it, and it's in 3 layers. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to take it to this. I'm going to get my pattern and cover the waist area. Okay, so I'm going to fold it this way. I don't know if you could see that. So but before then I'm going to gather. Then after gathering, then I'm going to stitch on it. Then after that I'm going to turn so it will help cover up this sewn part. Then I'll go ahead and secure this down part, and that is all about these tutorials. If you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And if you find anything confusing, let me know in the comment section so I can explain better.